dieting is making you fat. In fact, repeat dieting is making you fat, and your yo-yoing is making you fat as well. So, I'm going to introduce two new terms to you guys: hyperplasia and hypertrophy. Okay, hyperplasia would be the creation of new cells, like creation of new fat cells, and hypertrophy would be making those fat cells bigger. So, taking a look at this here, you gain fat in two ways. And actually, before I was gonna do this video with a demonstration for you guys, like a visual of balloons. But then I just feel so cheesy doing stuff like that, so I'm just gonna explain it to you. And if you want, use the balloon analogy to make it simple. Um, Hypertrophy is adding more air to the balloon. Okay, so you gain fat in two ways. One is hypertrophy, so more fat goes into the cell blows up. Secondarily, okay, once the cells are at their maximum size, then you start creating new fat cells. And that's hyperplasia, so that's adding more balloons. So if I have 5 balloons and they're all filled equally, all right, I'm fat. Now when I lose fat, what I've done is I've just drained all the air from the balloons, right? I'm taking the fat out of the fat cells, I'm draining the air from the balloons, okay? Now I'm skinny. But here's the thing, now my body is primed to gain fat again. Because I lost weight, because I lost fat, my body has actually upregulated processes to replenish that fat because I've created a new set point by being fat for so long. Flip side, okay? Now, when I start gaining fat again, guess what happens? My body also starts creating new balloons. Every time that you start to get fat again, your body starts adding more balloons. So whereas I had 5 balloons before, now I have 8 balloons, and now I'm going to fill all 8 balloons to full capacity, right? Ooh, I actually have more volume taken up, so I'm actually fatter, right? Okay, this is going to get really fun. Now I lose weight, so I deflate all those balloons again, okay? As I deflate those balloons again, though, I'm still a little bit fatter than I was the last time I lost weight. Because even if I deflate those balloons, not completely deflated, right? They're never completely empty. But now I have 8 small balloons, whereas I had 5 small balloons before. Now I get fat again. And as I get fat again, right, now we're going to add more balloons. So maybe this time I get really fat because I fall off the wagon. Maybe I get into a relationship and stop watching my body, like I get into a long-term relationship, I get comfortable, and, you know, I'm drinking alcohol and I'm eating fast food and all this stuff like that. And boom, I add, I don't know, say now I'm up to 15 balloons. And my 15 balloons fill up to capacity. Now I'm like really fat. And I say, oh geez, I gotta lose weight. Or my relationship ends and I'm like, I need to attract a new partner, so I need to lose weight. So I deflate my 15 balloons, but now I have 15 small balloons. Whereas in the original scenario, I had 5 small balloons. Now I have 15 small balloons. So I'm still fatter than I was originally. Even if I drop weight to previous levels, okay, so if I was 150 pounds, I get down to 150 pounds again. The thing is, now I'm 150 pounds with 15 balloons instead of 150 pounds with 5 balloons. So when I start gaining weight again, now I'm going to fill those 15 balloons up, and maybe I'll gain 5 more balloons, and I'll have 20 balloons now. So each time I'm actually getting fatter because I have more fat cells. I have more storage containers for fat. So I'm literally getting fatter each time. This is a shitty thing, because the reality of it is it takes 10 years for a fat cell to die. Okay, you guys can check out the research on it. I fully, I encourage you to. I actually have a book coming out probably within the next year, where I actually talk about the troubles of why you're fat and why you can't stop being fat, because it takes 10 years for those fat cells to die. So you would have to stay skinny. You'd have to stay at your lowest, leanest weight for 10 years before some of those fat cells start dying off. Do you see why it's easy to get fat, and each time you get fat, you get fatter? Okay? So this is where I have something really nasty to say, and I'm sorry, this is just reality. I'm not saying this is a personal thing or anything like that. The best way to be lean and skinny is to never get fat in the first place, because when you get fat, You're building all these new fat cells. Each time you get fat, you're literally getting fatter than you were before, because each time you have more fat cells than you had before. Okay, this is why your dieting doesn't work. Um, there are some methods to eliminate those things. I won't get into them in this video because I feel like that's its own topic. Probably a 2-hour dissertation on fat cell lipolysis and explaining how fat cells break down and cell lysing. But in any case, the point is that I want you guys to take away from this one is dieting, repeat dieting, and repeat weight gain is actually making you fatter each time. Each time you let yourself get fat, you're getting fatter than you were the time before. And each time you diet down, especially if you're doing it by cutting calories, you're actually priming your system to create new fat cells. You're actually teaching your body, hey, we're losing all this fat. Get ready. We're going to need to create new fat cells whenever food comes back. Boom. And when you get fat, there you have it. And that's why I try to tell people, alcohol is so insidious, because alcohol burns like a fat. And if you understand the metabolic effects behind it, now don't get me wrong, really small amounts of alcohol can actually be diuretic, and that can actually make you leaner. But we're talking very small amounts. The people who are drinking to the point where they're getting drunk, you're just creating new fat cells. And so even if you're skinny fat. You have more fat than you have muscle. But that's a different topic for a different time. The point is, each time you diet down, you're priming your system to create new fat cells. Each time you get fat, you're creating new fat cells, and therefore, each time you get fat, you're actually getting fatter than you were before. And you're never going to get as lean as you were before because you still have more fat cells. There you guys have it. Done.